moment, you are a trigger happy and loyal follower of Ty and I. Hopefully you'll follow us to other ends of the universe. Let me see. All right. We'll give people a second to join. And in the meantime, let me do some retweeting to get some people to Wizzy Watch. We can talk about some drama, AKA right now. I don't know if you guys know, but there's some hot drama around a lot of people, ladies in crypto, getting their Instagrams deleted, and I was one of them. However, I'm not an influencer, so I don't understand why I was lumped in with them. They have like way bigger followings than me. They're like way better videos and all that jazz. But yeah, I'm not that cool. Please give me Instagram. Please give me my videos. Please give it back. All right, let's see. Ty, are you able to find it on the Bitcoin Center page? Here we go.
Let me see. Oh, I need to retweet it too.
Okay, let me retweet it while I drink my coffee and orange soda.
Okay, oh, here we go.
Yeah. Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I'm actually kind of funny. Just a little bit. Okay. All right, cool. I retweeted it. You good? On your side?
I'm good.
Okay. Perfect. So let's get started. Thank you for joining our Trading Tuesdays, where we talk about price action and we teach you a little bit about how to read charts and some hot news and some nice commentary. Today, I am coming to you live from Seattle, Washington. Obviously, I am not in Miami. Ty, where are you in the world? Unless you want OPSEC to run and you don't want people to know where you are.
Oh, I don't care. I'm Northeast Georgia on a farm.
I'll stop by on my way over.
Yeah,
So thank you for joining us. And today we are going to be talking about Cardano, because MLMs are a thing of the future and the past and the present. And we're going to talk about how to use Fibonacci levels. We are going to look at volume and how volume ties into bullishness or bearishness. And then, as always, we will do some quick technical analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. But today, for our special coins, we're going to add Cardano and Dogecoin, because apparently TikTok, Chinese, India just banned TikTok. I don't know what's going on, but people are trying to pump Doge. And then we'll cover Fibonacci retracement levels and some volume indicators. So first things first, what's happening with Cardano?
Well, so there's a lot of drama around Cardano, and there seems to be, drama just seems to follow Charles Hoskins wherever he goes. You can debate that it's related to him or it's just how things, work out. But basically, there's an MLM that is essentially promoting Cardano or shilling Cardano to some rich and old farmers in it looks like a Chinese community. There's a video out there, and so the name of the company, it looks like that's the MLM, is called Asian Dragon Million Reward. And
Asian Dragon Million Reward?
Right.
Hold on, let me share my screen because I just pulled this up.
Did you see it?
I found an article about it. Okay, so our buddy Charles Hoskinson, who has the same microphone that I do, targets.
Yes. Yep, there you go.
Farmers. Molly hinted at.
I think Molly is with hash key. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there's all the videos. There's a video below that one. Yeah.
Huh. Cardano to rich farmers. That is definitely a Mercedes. He must be a rich farmer. Wow. Could you send Charles says, could you send what you have seen to the Cardano Foundation? We have nothing to do with this event. It appears to be a scam, and they're using our pictures and logos without permission.
And then he actually responds.
Right here, right?
Well, so there's another part that's outside of this thread, and he has his. I think he's a media director of IOHK. and he has a message. I'm assuming this is LinkedIn. A message to Molly to basically, it looks like there might be considering like legal ramifications for simply posting information that's out there. And it had nothing to do, like Molly didn't go out and say like, hey, Charles Hoskinson obviously paid for this MLM shill to shill Cardano. That's not what she said at all. She's simply putting the information out there, but somehow Charles Hoskinson, of course, takes the information and is now super upset about it and is potentially taking legal action. And so, of course, the community is mad about that because, it doesn't take much to get the community mad at legal action in general. So that's what's going down with Cardano. But surprisingly, the price of Cardano is still going up. So, and I can't tell you why. I don't think there's anything really interesting going on. But we'll look at volume and we'll look at some of the things that are quite interesting with some of the indicators when we look at the charts.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Cardano is one of those projects that I think people love because it's peer reviewed. Cardano hosted an event in Miami Beach maybe like a year ago. And they gave me and a bunch of free tickets because they wanted to like pump the conference. And I like know everybody in crypto in Miami. And it was very, very technical. There were some brilliant developers there. Like I actually have pictures with some of them. And I'm not like that into the whole development scene, but people were like, Eryka, like that guy developed like this. I wish I could remember his name. But yeah, Cardano's very, in terms of peer reviewed, in terms of like technology building, very innovative. I think Cardano has a lot of benefits, but let's see what the charts say. So do you want to talk about Fibonacci levels?
Yeah. So we'll do Fibonacci levels on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Cardano, and Doge. Just so I can just show off, because I'm trying to kind of go through a lot of these indicators, for anybody who might be a beginner, so that you can understand like how to use them and like what they're good for. So
cool.
I'll go ahead and just share my screen. Okay.
Is that your screen? That's my screen.
Yeah, I think I'm here now.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay. So this is, if you can see these lines here, this is what is known as, Fibonacci levels. And I'll show you how you can draw them out. It's really simple. It's like super simple. And what these little percentage levels mean. So first thing first, I'll go ahead and just remove this just so I can show you how to use the Fibonacci levels or how to actually trace down. So the way you would do this in this scenario is we've had previous price history that shows us, and by the way, this is Bitcoin, obviously. So we have previous price history that shows us an all-time high, and we are obviously not past that all-time high. So we have to use previous price history with a top and a bottom to give us some kind of range that allows us to see like where we're at in that range. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'll take this indicator here, or this set of indicators. I can go down to retracement or Fibonacci retracement. I'll go to the top of this wick here, the very top, and then I'm going to come all the way down to this bottom area here. Okay, I'm going to take it down and move it over here just so I can see how it traces over here as well. But I'm going to put this very bottom line at the very bottom of this trough. And this shows us basically Fibonacci levels. And there's these levels that are called like the golden ratio. And one of the golden ratios, the most important golden ratio, is known as the 0.618 level, or otherwise known as the 61.80% level. And what this means is this is 61.8% of the all-time high here. And so, of course, this is the 100% of this entire range here. So why are these levels important? Well, usually the way Fibonacci levels work is there are, for whatever reason, I think we talked about Fibonacci levels last week, but for whatever reason, there is a strong connection between Fibonacci levels, and there's like it's almost like the numbers act like magnets. That's how I look at it. So, for instance, these levels almost, are like magnets, and they collect the numbers into these ranges, or they possess some kind of importance. Okay, so let's look at some of these numbers real quick just to see if it matches up, if it is somewhat accurate. So we can look at the 0.382 level, for example. This level, if we look back in previous price history, has acted as a pretty decent support in this area. I say decent, but obviously it crashed through back in 2018. And then it also turned around and acted as strong resistance because you saw this big wick here, and it crashed back down to, of course, where price levels we're at now. So now we can see the next price level. Well, let's see how the 0.55 or 0.500 price level acted. Well, you can see this is also acting as resistance. Almost perfectly, you see the body of the candle is the closing point underneath this 0.500 level for the Fibonacci level. And then, of course, it stays in between the 0.618 for a little bit before dropping below. And then you can also see here, this is also resistance. So you see, the point is, you can see these Fibonacci levels almost act like, crucial supports and resistance points for whatever reason. Maybe it's just how the bots work, because a lot of the trading is bot trading, or maybe it's just how, who knows, there's no like defined reason, but it just works. And so now we look at the 0.618 level, because this is where we're really teetering on right now. And so if we see this 0.618 level, we see that we're right below it. But it seems to be like a very important level where we have briefly eclipsed it in the past in August, 2019, June 2019, around that area, and have tried to make it above this level again, but failed, and of course crashed back down below. And then finally, this 0.786 level is also a pretty important level, because you see below this level, big crash all the way down to 100%. But above this level, big pump to 618. So this area here is pretty volatile, but ideally we want to be above this 0.618 level, because if we can accomplish that, the golden ratio, or what is known as the golden ratio, the golden number for Fibonacci's, for whatever reason, seems to be 618. And if we can make our way above this, that's a good sign. So for every Fibonacci level, we want to be above that level. Am I making sense?
No, that definitely makes sense. Do you, so how we will not hold 9K as a floor unless we make it above that next hump?
Yes, and that next level is 9469. That's what the Fibonacci level says, at least. So we need to maintain our price level above that number, at least to stay above the 0.618 level. But obviously, if we don't, then the next level is going to be 6667. That's what it says here on the 786, at least.
The next level is going to be what? Say that one more time.
6667. That's what this number here says. I don't know if you can see this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, it's if you're a hodler or if you're a trader, it's really
more.
Exactly.
I mean, if I can get more cheap Bitcoin, I don't mind.
The fundamentals are still absolutely there.
Yes.
Okay, so what about volume? Show us like what the volume means.
Okay, so this is where things are not so good for Bitcoin. Well, there's two things, obviously. Yeah. So at least short term. So short term, we're looking at two things. We can't maintain a level above the 618 Fibonacci level. And then the other problem is our volume down here is decreasing. So obviously you want to see green. You want to see increasing volume. Like, for example, let's just look over, I don't know, I'll just use, I guess this is a decent example back here. So obviously we have the run up in 2017. So what you'd ideally want to see is increasing volume across the green, obviously. If you have increasing volume across the red, that means that it's bearish, and that's not a good thing. But what we have here is decreasing volume in general. So what that means is that there are no buy orders. Okay, it also means there's no sell orders, but it also means there's no buy orders. And so with the advent or the introduction of leverage exchanges like BitMEX, and of course you have like FTX and all these other exchanges that provide leverage, if somebody wanted to, kind of flip the order books and introduce a large leverage short, now that could crash the price or at least do a lot of damage in crypto at the very least. So with decreasing volume and the failure to maintain above the 618 level, that's not exactly a good sign. So that's how you would look at that.
Wow, that's super interesting. I mean, and it only makes sense, right? There's no buy orders, but there's also no sell orders.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still something that definitely needs to be taken into account when you're reading charts. But on the bright side, today I did give a presentation to about 50 like international investors about Bitcoin, and they were like, "Oh, I need to buy some Bitcoin." So hopefully, I get some.
Hopefully,
emails.
you got them in.
I know, but it's interesting because like, when you look at these charts, you are completely correct that when you have your BitMEXs that are like 50x leverage, that should be taken into account. Plus, like all of the OTC stuff, like a lot of OTC stuff comes across my way because people are like, how can I buy large amounts of Bitcoin? And definitely I've seen an uptick in that stuff recently. So there's factors that are not taken into account. But
I'm assuming more buys than sells.
Oh, nobody's wanting to sell right now. It's literally only buys. So, and which normally it's like a mixture of both, but right now it's just buys.
Yeah, and it could just be that, as far as exchange volume. So, that's the other thing. So a lot of the institutions, they're obviously not using these exchange order books, right? These order books are for retail investors primarily. And those OTC trades don't hit the order books except for very, very minute cases or very like over time, right? They're not going to hit the order books with like leverage or $100,000, $300,000 like a retail trader would. We're talking like millions of dollars usually in buy orders, and those don't reflect on the exchanges or at least on the charts.
Yeah, initially, exactly. But it's all kind of priced in, right? That's what people say, at least. I don't know. But I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I think that obviously the demand the supply shock has not set in just yet. And I think what's more likely to happen is, the other thing is like there's no buyers, right? But there's also no sellers. Mm-hmm. So you just have sideways action, which is where a lot of the altcoins will excel, which we'll take a look at some of those and we'll see that.
Okay, so for sure. Do you want to just give a quick recap of where you think Bitcoin will be moving in the next week or so?
In the next week, if we do not, I mean, this is pretty bearish seeing this volume drop here, and this is over weeks. I mean, we could go to days here and just kind of take a closer look, but there's a small uptick in volume here, but it's not anything significant, and it's not anything that's going to overcome a lot of these sell orders. So, like I said, if we don't maintain a level above the 618 level, I think that we could be revisiting, somewhere around 6,800 to 7,000. I think that's probably likely, at least in the short term. And this, again, when I say sideways, what I mean is like you're going to be looking at a pretty large range for Bitcoin, I feel like. And that range could be anywhere between 6,800, 7,000 to 9,000, at least for a period of time. That's a sideways action that I'm referring to. I'm not talking about 9,000 to 9,300. That's a very small range, and that's too small for Bitcoin, especially the volatility.
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting because on the presentation that I did today to all the investors, one of the questions was like, you said a lot of good things about Bitcoin, but what about the bad stuff? Like, what about the volatility? And I'm like, dude, the market cap of Bitcoin is like $175 billion. That is a drop in the bucket. Like a couple $1 million will move the needle quite a bit. So volatility is just a feature. It is not a bug.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
A good way to put it.
Huh?
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, definitely. So Ethereum?
Yes, let's move on to that one.
Yeah, Ethereum definitely. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, again, I've already drawn the Fibonacci levels. So, but what were you gonna say?
Ethereum, DeFi 2.0.
Yes.
I heard there's some troubles in the DeFi world.
Yeah. Well, there's some DeFi protocols
That are under leveraged.
Yes, and there's also like, I think the DeFi community is awesome. I think there's a lot of potential. There's still a lot of security issues within some of these protocols. Like I think Balancer just had like a $500,000 hack or something like that, where somebody who just knew how the protocol worked really well, and they were able to steal some money. So there's still some issues here and there, and you're going to see here with Ethereum why we may not even be relatively close, at least not yet, to some real growth. So if we look here at the Fibonacci levels, we see that the all-time high is around 1412, somewhere around there. And then if you go all the way to the bottom, of course, that's how you would draw your Fibonacci level. You can see that, and let me go to the weekly actually, just so I can show you closer. You can see that the bottom is somewhere around like 77. And this is where we are in the range. Okay, we're still below the 786. So for comparison, Bitcoin was just below the 618, right? So Bitcoin is doing a lot better in terms of performance with the Fibonacci levels, which is, in my opinion, that's likely to happen. But if we're looking at Ethereum, we think that Ethereum is going to be bouncing back anytime soon. Well, first we have to look at the 786 level, and we haven't even eclipsed that level, right? We're still in this range of 786 to 100%. So that's not exactly bullish. And then, of course, you can do the same thing with Ethereum and say, well, let's look at the volume. Okay, volume is also decreasing as well. Even though the price is increasing here, the volume is decreasing. That's not exactly bullish. Now, a lot of people will say, and I don't even know if anybody's in the comments is saying this yet, but a lot of people will say that volume can be manipulated, so it's not necessarily a good metric to use. However, I think when it's clear that you're seeing declining volume, it's pretty evident. I think that is true, that volume is not necessarily a good metric to use when you're looking at specific order books or specific orders, because a lot of it is manipulated through bots. Like for instance, you could have like a dollar orders of the same price, and then the bots will just put in multiple dollar orders or something like that. In that case, the order books could seem to have more buy orders or more volume, but in reality, it doesn't. It's just manipulated. So, but in this case, it's pretty clear, and this is over the weekly as well. So it's pretty clear the volume's dropping, and Ethereum's not exactly going anywhere. So it's not ready yet. It is a good time to buy, in my opinion, because anywhere below the 786 is still really cheap. And I don't think you're going to be looking at anything less than $77 anyways.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, what's cool too about Ethereum is that like the way that I consider it is if it is a cryptocurrency or if it's a coin, it has its own blockchain. If it's a token, it's most likely built on the Ethereum blockchain. So you can still have volume and different trading like opportunities on the Ethereum blockchain without actually having movement on Ethereum.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I think towards the end, we might actually look at some Ethereum blockchain transactions, maybe see how the volume of transactions is trending. That might give us an idea of like what the, what all these DeFi protocols might look like, because that's a good point. I mean, the price doesn't necessarily reflect the usage, right? Same thing with Bitcoin. The price doesn't actually reflect a lot of the usage sometimes. So, and it's, you got to look at hash rate as well. So, so price is not like the end all be all. It's just like for this purpose, obviously for what we're doing for TA.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let's go ahead and look at Litecoin. See how this is doing. Okay, so Litecoin is a bit different because Litecoin had this giant wick back in 2017 in December, all the way from the body of the candle, which is around 325, to the top of the wick, which is 419. So, big, massive orders placed between the 0.236 and the top of this level here back in 2017. But nonetheless, we still have to use the top here for our chart purposes. So we're again, Litecoin, same scenario as Ethereum. we're still in this range here. And you can see where Litecoin has used the 786 before in the past as support multiple times, and then finally crashes down, of course, with Bitcoin back in 2018. Tried to make its way above that level briefly, and then, of course, crashed back down. And you can see that in this candle right here. This is a big, massive red candle, or in my case, black candle, because my charts are different. And then, of course, tried to make another effort twice here in 2 different weeks. Couldn't do it. And then finally crashed back down to where we are today, which is around 43, 46. So it's still in this range, until we eclipse the 786 level. Some people won't even buy until it's past the 786 level, because that is true growth, at least in terms of like the bear market being over. And this is also like a good measure of when assets are going to start really pumping, because then at that point you can pretty much say, okay, that's the golden number, the golden time to buy between 618 and 786. So, and then same thing with volume, again, decreasing.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, really what they say, like Bitcoin really pushes everything else, but if you're seeing Bitcoin volume decreasing, you're going to see it decreasing everywhere, which really makes me think, like, how are people getting into this asset? Because it's definitely still a hot topic.
Yeah, I guess DeFi is going to have to hold it up for now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, moving on.
ADA.
Yeah.
So ADA is one of the first female developers. That's why Cardano, ADA, she's cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Learned that at the Cardano Summit.
ADA is also the name of the first Android robot, or what they call an android.
Huh. Interesting.
Yep. It's weird. It's creepy. It speaks and all this kind of stuff.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay. So Cardano.
What's Cardano at right now?
It's currently at 11 cents.
Okay.
Yep. So the top of Cardano, and this is the tether pair here for Binance. The top here is about 38 cents, and its bottom was actually hit fairly recently. Let's just adjust that a little bit. Back in March of 2020.
So I guess that MLM wasn't really working then.
Well, I know, because if you see here, there's actually a lot of volume, which is good to see, and there's also a heavy price increase, and it's above the 786 level. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where I don't really know what's going on with Cardano right now that's so special that is making the price go up. There was like a rollout of like more work on the Shelly testnet or something like that, which is like another phase of Cardano. Mm-hmm. But I can't see that being like a big push for pushing the price of Cardano up. But I mean, I guess it remains to be seen how this weekly candle holds up, to be honest, because it's just eclipsing the 786 level. So if it closes above the 786 level, that's definitely bullish, and I would consider looking at some bids to buy some Cardano, because anywhere between the 618 level and the 786 level is fairly a decent buy, because this is how it would look. Let's see. Let's get the curve here. I mean, this is pretty much what you want to see when you're looking at these cryptocurrencies. You want to see action like this. Okay, so here's your bull market, or at least your top, and then of course, you're gonna have to come crashing down at some point, stay in a bearish mode sideways, and then of course start trending up like this. That's what you want to see. So if that's the case, anywhere between a 786 and 618 level is considered a good buy. But if we see a close of the weekly crash back down to the 786 level at 9 cents, it looks like, then I would say cancel it, and you might see a revisit of the low, because it's only tested it once, which I find interesting.
But it doesn't look like the volume's going down on Cardano.
It doesn't. It doesn't. So, I mean, this weekly's volume is not that great. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the sell orders are like on Cardano. I don't really know if it's reasonable to sell based on the CEO Charles Hoskinson's just weirdness, because the project or the company is pretty decent. I mean, as far as technical developments go, it's pretty good. So, you know, if you want to be salty about Charles Hoskinson's or you know, just about how he is in general and how he supports the project, well, that's one thing. But as far as the technical details, it's pretty solid. So again, this little area here, this is not a range that you want to be inside or make bids inside unless you were towards the bottom, I'd say. Because then if you buy at resistance, this is what you essentially be doing, then of course you could have the opportunity to buy lower anyways. And I expect that if we do close at or below this price level here, we're probably going to revisit the low, which is around 1 cent, which would be great. So
should be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy Charles gave like a bunch of people like free. I think they were, I don't know, like anyways, cards that had Cardano on them. It was really interesting.
Right.
So I have a question from the crowd. Pravi. Hey, Pravi, what's up? I hope you're doing well. He says, do you see trading correlations between Bitcoin and other asset classes? Tradable correlations, that is.
Which asset classes? Is he talking about like stocks? Or are you talking about like gold? I mean, we can look at that if he's more specific.
Yeah, let us know, Prav, if you're still watching. Let us know what exactly you want to take a look at. And before we... Gold. Okay, here it says gold.
Gold. Okay, we'll look at that after Doge.
Okay, yeah. So we also have Crypto Bean here saying XRP gonna pull a Doge. Whatever that means, Crypto Bean, we are gonna look at some Doge charts right now because TikTok is a thing that I hate and I refuse to actually download onto my phone. But also, India just banned TikTok from their country, and it was like not just TikTok, it was like 50 other Chinese apps. So I would just really be careful. I mean, I hate TikTok, honestly, just because you see so many like teenage girls dancing around on there and they're all like showing off their bellies or in their bikinis. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys, can you at least get paid for this shit? You know, like they're just being hoochie mamas for free and it's really annoying. And I feel bad because it's normal. But yeah, I hate TikTok.
Go off.
Delete it. Huh?
I said go off.
I know, I will. Not the place. These people want to learn about money, not anyways, yeah. So Dogecoin.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you also saw that their Mike Pompeo is saying that they are looking at banning it in the US as well.
Yeah. You know, and also in that sense, it's like I don't really like, even though I don't like TikTok, I don't think that the government should be able to come in and say, we'll ban it. I think that they should do work to expose that, hey, guess what? There's a back end door from TikTok to all your other apps. And then let the people choose. And if they want to be idiots, let them be idiots. But like, I'm a huge not fan of too much government control.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, okay. So the reason why we're talking about TikTok is because there's been an effort from a bunch of TikTok creators who have been posting, and you may have seen some of this content all over Twitter, but these kids, I guess, are trying to pump Doge to $1. So they're making all of these, and this is in the last week, so we can see that reflected on the
volume.
Yeah, reflected on the volume here. So you can see this giant candle out of nowhere is because a bunch of TikTokers are posting videos about Doge, and they're saying like, hey, if we can pump this to $1, you'll have like this percentage gain or whatever. Doubt it's going to happen. I don't think they know how these markets work. I think they're going to get slapped down with a leverage short at some point, which is probably here at the 0.382 level, actually, which also kind of leads back into this level here in February of 2020. Where this giant wick goes up here. I think this is when Elon was talking about it, but it gets slapped down below the 382 level, and then has a giant candle down below the 50%. And of course, that's kind of where we're at now, where we touched the 382 level, and I think we're going to slap down again. You might see it close above the 50, but I just think it's just going to come all the way back down. I don't think the TikTokers have enough money.
Yeah, also too, like the problem with crypto is you want to teach people about what's going on, but there's so many questions.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, oh, buy some Doge, but people don't know how to buy Doge.
Well,
So,
I think you can buy it on Robinhood.
oh,
And
really?
I think
You
that's what they're
can?
using. Yeah, I think that's what they're using to buy it. Actually, let me just double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're using. Yeah. Yeah, Robinhood. That's what
Oh,
it is.
wow. That's crazy. I did not know you could buy Doge on Robinhood, but
So
wow.
yeah, so
Wow.
so all the the Zoomers are going on Robinhood. They're all saying, hey, let's pump Dogecoin to $1. And this actually leads me back into that comment that just came up that said XRP is going to pull a Doge.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there's no TikTokers talking about XRP.
You're gonna have
I don't think so.
XRP Army, you're gonna need to hire some preteen girls.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. Okay, so we have another question.
Sure.
About is Fibonacci a scam? Isaac asks. Fibonacci is the numbers of the universe.
Yes. In fact, I got it right here. So
show us.
So Fibonacci numbers and lines and definitions and uses. Okay. And actually, let's pull Fibonacci up on Wikipedia as well, because I want to show.
It's interesting that you're talking about this stuff, because yesterday I was watching a show about how there are just numbers in the universe, and what you said in the beginning about how it's magnetic and how it tends to touch those lines. The whole idea of Fibonacci is magnetic, that everything is working towards equilibrium.
Yes.
And in order to be, and you really see that that's how air works. That's how wind works. That's how storms happen, is because everything wants to work towards equilibrium. And this is how, when things are in equilibrium, they look.
Well, so this is a whole different argument, but this is basically, so the universe is not random. Okay. So the universe is finely tuned, and there's a list of physics equations that fit on a sheet of paper that make up the universe, essentially. Like if these numbers change in the slightest, and the whole universe comes crashing down. So why is this important? Well, this is where the Fibonacci numbers come in, and numbers are obviously very important. They're obviously in our lives and every single thing that we do. And so the idea behind the Fibonacci numbers is that there are these specific numbers which there's some type of equilibrium that is surrounded with these numbers. Okay, so for instance, what I have on the screen here is just a little flower, or whatever seems to be looks like a flower. But what it's showing that there is a pattern amongst all life. Okay, so you can look at flowers. I think there's also an example of like a shell that I've seen before. Oop, let me pull this down. Maybe not a shell on this example or on Wikipedia, but like shells have this shape that actually follows this, for example. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, so everything follows like this spiral pattern. And so this is like where the Fibonacci numbers come from. The universe follows a spiral pattern. The Milky Way follows a spiral pattern. So all these numbers, or all these things in the universe, follow these numbers. And so that's why the Fibonacci numbers are so important. And you might as well use them in technical analysis, because, why wouldn't you? If the whole universe follows it, you might as well just use what the universe uses.
And apparently it works. So yeah, Fibonacci is not a scam. It is a principle of the universe. Gematria, if you guys are into it, look into it. It's really interesting.
Yes.
But you're right. I mean, why not be reflected there? So tradable correlations for gold.
All right, let's look.
All right, Pravi, we're coming to you.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up Bitcoin on BTC on Coinbase.
Yeah, what's interesting about the whole just gold, and I just talked about this while you're pulling it up, the whole gold versus Bitcoin debate is that, Bitcoin, you can have a brain wallet. As long as you remember your 12 to 24 word seed phrase, you can go anywhere you want and not have to worry about your wealth being confiscated. You can keep your wealth intact and cross borders. Also, gold, nothing's wrong with gold, except Bitcoin is just kind of like a better version of it. Because let's say that you're a wealthy person and you're in a nation that has a crisis and you need to become a refugee and you need to flee your country. do you really think that if you carry your gold with you, that you're not going to get robbed, or they're not going to just confiscate it from you? Like, you really make yourself a target, and you can't like put it in your pockets, like, depending on how much you have. Like, it's completely impossible. So right now, like, I'm working with a lot of I feel like institutional investors who they have enough gold, they have enough fiat, and they're like, how else can I store my wealth, especially if we go through a currency crisis? A lot of them are looking at Bitcoin, partly because I'm telling them to, but partly because it only makes sense. So, also, one thing that gold does that Bitcoin doesn't do is that we really don't know the finite supply of gold. Let's say that Elon Musk makes it to Mars and he finds a shit ton of gold on Mars, then like, there goes your store of value. So what I love about Bitcoin is that and you can even time down to nearly the hour at which new Bitcoins enter the market. With gold, it's pretty unpredictable. So. Exactly.
So let's take a look at the correlation here. So right now, gold is currently at $1,795. It's doing pretty well, actually. Bitcoin, of course, is at 9,244. So if we look at the correlation here, there seems to be, at least where I see, let's go ahead and just show this. There seems to be a decline in Bitcoin from June 1st, 2020. Otherwise, before this, it seems that gold and Bitcoin follow each other pretty well. Even this giant red candle here, this black candle here, they're the same. They're both bearish candles. They both collapsed on what I think is actually known as Black Thursday. So, or at least in the same week, actually, because we're looking at the weekly. But at least so recently, there's been almost a separation. So they're negatively correlating, which is not necessarily a good thing for Bitcoin right now. I mean, it'd be great if Bitcoin was going up and gold was going down, but right now it's negatively correlating, and gold is going in the opposite direction. Bitcoin's going down. Now, obviously, the thing to note here is that just before all this happened, we saw, let's go pull my little brush out here. Bitcoin halved in this area, okay? So while Bitcoin was halving, maybe you have some kind of disconnection because it's not to do with gold necessarily, but more to do with Bitcoin. Maybe because of the halving, miners are having to sell off more, even though buy orders are still coming in. That's kind of like the theory that I have, and maybe Bitcoin would be positively correlated with gold if it weren't for the halving, right? So, but here's the thing. If gold is doing well right now, we have to assume that Bitcoin probably would as well in this scenario if it weren't for the halving. So what that means is that there's probably going to be a supply shock, and when it does hit, it's going to be nasty, and it's going to be good. So that's what I see here with gold and Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to take. Is the supply shock that is not being accounted for. And what's interesting is, like, I was running a panel of miners the other day, and they said that the difficulty has already adjusted, which they didn't anticipate. So, I mean, we really don't know, but I do know that Bitcoin is still a good store of value, and so is gold. So Bitcoin, bullets, bullion. Yes, very important.
Yes. Last thing I just wanted to point out here. So Bitcoin dominance is decreasing. And this is, again, probably because Bitcoin's going sideways. So when Bitcoin dominance decreases, this is usually a good sign of what is known as alt season. But I don't think alt season is just here just yet. It might be close, but I think we've got some time to wait.
Yeah, hopefully. We have a lot of time. All right, so Alian asks, how does it affect the crypto market that pop stablecoin Tether is now circulating on the Bitcoin Cash network? Tether is one of the biggest controversies, and I really don't understand how this is going to be reconciled, other than people need to give Tether LLC your money so they can actually back their stablecoin.
Yeah, so the whole thing with Tether is quite interesting. I talked about it, I think, a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
There are some rumors that
Ty, hello. Oh, snap. All right, well, time to entertain while Ty's Wi-Fi reconnects, because it looks like it's his Wi-Fi, not mine. If you guys don't know about the Tether controversy, Tether is basically the first stable coin to come to the market.
I think we're back.
Hi, you're back. Okay, woo. I had to introduce people. All right, so
Pretty sure this happens every week.
I know.
Okay, well, what I was saying was, so the idea or the theory is that the government might be using Bitfinex to print off new Tether dollars to essentially acquire more Bitcoin. I mean, that's a theory. It's probably not true, but what is true is that they've never been properly audited, and it's not a good idea to hold Tether when there's so many other opportunities to, or competition to hold, like USDC or other stable coins.
Gemini has their own stable coin.
Yeah, you could even hold, like, some of the algorithmically backed stable coins, which are probably a better bet of holding their stability. I just think that if you have any money in Tether, it's probably not safe. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And it's weird that the government won't actually audit them. They've gone in and they've said they did, but in reality, it's like they don't actually audit them. So one more question from Ernesto says, negative or positive, the low trading volume of #Bitcoin. What does it mean that there is so little volume? So little volume means that there's not a lot of buyers, there's not a lot of sellers, the interest is low. I wonder if that correlates with like Google Trends searches, if
let's find out.
Yeah, show us, Ty.
Let me see. But I think it's either interest or there's another stat, actually. Let me see if I can pull it up from sentiment. And I pulled it up at one point, I think it was before the halving, and it was basically the percentage of holders who are taking their Bitcoin off of exchanges. Now, what that could mean is that if you're taking your money off an exchange or your Bitcoin off an exchange, then obviously you don't intend on selling it. So if you don't intend on selling it, that means that you're probably in it for the long haul, or you're holding it so that you can maybe bring it back onto the exchange at a later time, maybe after the bull run, essentially. So let me see if I can pull that let's see that up. And I want to see if the numbers have changed or if the data has changed on that.
Okay, you're going to have to reshare your screen, Ty.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it back up. So,
okay.
And then I'm going to see if I can pull up Bitcoin as well on Google Trends, or you could pull that up.
Let's see, Google Trends, I got it. Google Trends.
It's funny, there is a correlation.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there is. Okay, let's see.
All the tools at our fingertips.
Yeah. Let's see, where is...
So, while you're looking that up, I will share my screen to the stream.
Okay.
And here we go. So, Google Trends, guys. It says that, I'll just read my charts here.
Okay.
From March 8th to the 14th, we hit an all-time high with 96. I'm going to say this must be in, I wonder what measurement unit of measure this is. It can't be 96 searches. It must be like 96,000 or million or something.
Has to be, I think.
Yeah, it has to be. And then we came back down here because the Fibonacci said to. And so we came to 58 searches. And now here we are on May 10th through the 16th of 2020, back at all-time highs. And now we are trailing off because everybody is probably worried right now about coronavirus or something. They're like over the fact that the government just gave us $1 trillion of debt. They're probably over it, and they're like, well, what can I do now? What protests can I join?
Right.
So Yeah, let's see. I've actually never really looked at Google Trends before. Nevada, what's up, Nevada? Why are you looking about Bitcoin? California, you need to look at Bitcoin. You need some of that in your life. Huh. Oh, look, related queries. Bitcoin price 2x, double your BTC moon. What the fuck are you guys looking up?
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's so weird. But yeah, definitely Bitcoin is a trending search. Here we go.
I'm trying to find this metric. I don't see. I guess this is interesting. I mean, this is daily active addresses. Let me see if I can pull this.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting topic too. It's like if you have a daily active address, that means you're constantly using your crypto. A lot of those are exchanges though. But then when you're a person who spreads your crypto among like multiple different addresses because you can, what does that mean? You know, how does that like reflect on these different charts?
Right. All right. Well, I can't find what I was looking for initially, but we're going to look at something else. So we're going to look at Bitcoin daily active addresses, because that does actually mean it does correlate to usage. So let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty evident. Let's see. I'm just trying to find a good chart that actually shows. Let's see. I guess sentiment is the best for this then.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to sentiment. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't be sorry. Crypto Bean still wants Scott to give him a job at the center. Crypto Bean.
Crypto Bean.
Can you grow me some beans?
You gotta change your name first. Okay, let's see. Network activity. Daily active addresses. Boom. Okay, and let's go back far. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can see this.
Cool, got it.
All right, let me see if I can zoom out actually, because this is pretty. Yeah, I mean this is pretty. I'd say this is pretty explanatory or self-explanatory. So obviously this is 2017. These are daily active addresses. So these are wallets that are active and being used. So then if you look at the trough here back in March 2018, this would have been like bear market bottom. This is where you don't want to be. And so since then, even with all of the price troughs and the bearishness and whatnot, it's still trending upwards, getting close to where it was back in 2017. So I think that's probably a pretty good metric. I hope this answers that question earlier. So, yeah.
Sorry, I was muted. Definitely, I think that a lot of what's happening is when institutional money comes in, they're not buying it like the retail customers, and it's really not reflected in the charts online. So I would say that, volume taking into account is not fully accounted for, especially just because of what I see in the markets. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but the fundamentals of Bitcoin every single day continuing to stay censorship resistant, continuing to, mine blocks every 10 minutes. Definitely still an exciting asset to be part of. So. Oh
yeah, and I forgot to mention one more thing. But I think Bitcoin hash rate just made a new high.
Yeah, which is amazing, right? The security.
Oh yeah, it just did. It made a new high.
Yeah. The hash rate is essentially how many computers around the world are contributing to the security of the Bitcoin network. If it hit an all-time high, that's something to cheers about.
Yep. So we're looking at 123.413 million terahashes, I'm assuming. It's a big number.
Yeah, seriously. Love it. Great. Fundamentals getting stronger every single day. So any closing thoughts from you, Ty? Anything about Charles Hoskinson and the Chinese farmers? Anything about TikTok?
I would say, so I made a tweet the other day. It was about, let me say this correctly, or let me frame this correctly. I said, essentially, there's a lot of arrogance in the industry, and I said specifically about towards education, about a lot of the people in the industry believing that they're the authority on the information that they're presenting. When this industry is so young, I think it's very difficult to be the authority on information. And I think we're all learning together, and we're all trying to figure out what is the next step. And I think that when you pretend or when you claim to be the authority on information and there is nothing else to learn, you are preventing not only yourself from learning, but others from learning. So with all that being said, I think arrogance is a problematic trait to possess. And if we could get rid of that in this industry, I think everybody would be better for it.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more, Ty. I was on a stream this morning with the guy who runs Mikey Satoshi. He runs High Heels in Crypto. We were having the same exact conversation about how, I understand, like, for example, XRP, okay? I'm just bringing this up. But like, we don't know. Do I think that XRP is trying to be sound money? No, I know that that's not a case. But do I know that the central banks aren't going to pick it up as their beloved digital currency? Like, we don't know. So yeah, we really, and plus, like, for a while it was like anything that's not Bitcoin is a shit coin, and there are a lot of shit coins out there. Like, that is completely correct. But to just write everything off, not even look into anything, and just say, like, I know everything because I've been in this space for X amount of years, continue to do that. And I think you're going to miss out on a lot of different opportunities. So everybody is still learning. Really, everybody's still learning. So, I was thinking too, like, I don't actually read code. And I'm not a developer by any means. So I still am trusting the people that I know that can read code and that are telling me that this system is accurate. Like, I'm trusting them. But at the same time, a level of humility is definitely important. So.
Yep. Well said.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another Trading Tuesdays. You will see us next Tuesday here at the same place. And if you are just tuning in and you're watching the end, today we covered Fibonacci reads on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, ADA, Dogecoin, some TikTok drama, and a new story I like to call Charles and the Chinese farmers. So
that's good.
Trendy, you got to keep it up there.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Ty. And hopefully FOMO Hunt will launch soon so we can do some publicity for you guys.
Yes, definitely. And we'll have some cool usability with the platform that we can look at all assets with.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next Tuesday. Bye. La, 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 let me but my zoom in and broadcast. There we go.